if you can do it, do it. I'd take my dog everywhere if I could. So I'm Rachel McRose, and I am, I suppose, an influencer in the making. So not really a big name or anything like that, but I've always had an interest in fashion. I've started a YouTube channel, and it's just something I really enjoy, and it's a bit of a creative outlet for me. And I love it for loads of reasons. Like, I love the fashion. I love trying on clothes. If I'm honest, it's really as simple as that. That's the main reason. But I've also met some amazing people like yourself, and made like new friends in different industries and with different perspectives and mindsets on fashion and what fashion is to them. And I love it. I do. It's great.
Yeah, it's so fab, isn't it? Because that's the best thing about it for me as well, is obviously we're getting to work with clothes and stuff, which is great, but then meeting people is so nice, and connecting with other women that you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Absolutely. And something that's just started for me is like I've gotten involved in like fashion photography and photography. So not I'm in front of the camera, but I'm honestly I'm enjoying it so much. And you get both sides of that, don't you, being a photographer as well as the model? So
Yeah.
it's just so, I have a lot of fun, and it's just a really nice thing to be doing, especially when it got a bit scary with COVID and stuff. It was nice to have a sort of outlet for fun and creativity and a bit of positivity, you know, something nice and something to look forward to.
Yeah, do you find it easy to motivate yourself to do Instagram and YouTube?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, I have had some days where I've just like needed to step away from it, because something that I've come to realise is that I do post like all the pictures of myself, but like I think the best pictures. So like sometimes I'll try and take a selfie of an outfit or whatever, and I'm searching for the best one. Now I'm not joking, there's probably like 900, maybe not 900, but there's a lot. And I'm trying to make more of a conscious effort to be a bit more normal and natural in my Instagram now. And I think because when I was scrolling through countless beautiful image after beautiful image, it just maybe affected me slightly. So it's something I'm trying to be more aware of now as well in what I'm posting. And I think that having that mindset has actually like helped, but certainly hindered me, because then I'm like, oh, actually there's an internal battle, like I don't want to post that picture or something, and that's silly. I just need to be like, yeah, it's fine, that's who I am.
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you mean, because I think I used to get very hung up on the image being perfect, and now I'm like just a little bit less bothered about it. But I don't know if it's because I've taken so many and I post so many. I know that photo is going to be old hat soon anyway.
It's so true as well. And also, like, just because something that I realised, like, so it was somebody else posting it, and they were like, oh, I hate how, because I think they had like stomach rolls. We all have stomach rolls, but the way they were angled, they were like, oh, I hate this photo, but I was going to post it anyway because of this. And it was the last thing that I would have ever noticed about the picture, because they looked lovely. I think they were smiling in it, and you notice, like, you wouldn't notice something about somebody else like that. And I think we're very self-critical sometimes. I can be a bit self-critical sometimes. So I'm trying to push past that. And I think, you know, for social media having quite a bad rap about things like that, I think if you can change your mindset about yourself, then that's pretty cool, pretty powerful.
Yeah, because it's interesting at the moment how people are kind of saying, they're posting it like you said, and then pointing out that this is a flaw, and it would be good to get to a point one day where
we don't see it as a flaw.
Yeah, we don't see it as anything. It's just the norm, which would be
really nice. Great, yeah. I'd love that. Definitely not there yet, but one day.
What inspired you to start YouTube then? Because I don't think I've spoken to many, if any, people that do YouTube on here. Yeah,
well, I started an Instagram account just mainly because I like clothes, and I thought, oh, that would be a good outlet to do it. What I found was that my personality, because I'm a little bit maybe geeky, but it wasn't coming across in the pictures, like in a snapshot. It was just like, you know, it's very that's not me most of the time, to be honest. So I thought it would be better for me to try and come across on video and maybe make some different types of connections. And it was really just started off as a bit of let's see what happens and see if it's any good. But I remember being so nervous before I uploaded my first video. Like, I don't think I told many of my friends or family about it. Like, it was something that was very personal to me, and I at the end of it, it's sort of like the perfection thing, I suppose. But you just have to go, it's fine, post it and be okay with it. And, you know, it's not meant to be perfect for your first ever YouTube. Oh God, I'm like 40 in and they're still definitely not perfect, but I'm having fun with it, and I enjoy it. And it's great to learn something new as well. Video editing was completely brand new to me, and just learning about that and the different effects that you can do, and, you know, how to, you know, add in different animations, or, you know, reduce the sound levels in certain parts of it to make them rise in different ones. So I'm really enjoying learning about YouTube and how to get the best out of videos.
And are your friends and family supportive about you doing YouTube?
They're so supportive. Yeah, they're really lovely. Everybody's been so nice, actually. There's not been any nastiness or negativity. I think there was a lot of people, weirdly enough, thinking that there would be, and then they were protective over me, like, oh, aren't you worried about trolls or things like that? And yeah, of course, like, nobody wants to be trolled or anything, but I thought, if I can do it, then I can see if I like it. And don't get me wrong, like, sometimes I can be quite sensitive or whatever, but so far everybody's been lovely. And you know, if I do get a troll, then hopefully I'll just be like,
I know, cause it definitely worries me sort of putting myself out there, especially because YouTube people seem to be particularly nasty on that
I think
channel.
It's easier, isn't it, the whole keyboard warrior thing?
Yeah. And I don't know what I would do if I had someone that was... I've had a couple of people criticise things, but I've not really had anyone that's sort of really just gone in for the kill and just been like, oh, your nose is a weird shape or something. Do you know what I mean? I've not really had any of that kind of like bullying.
And neither should you. I mean, it's crazy that people think they can do stuff like that. But I get the criticism thing. Somebody told me that the music that I overlaid on one of my videos was awful. And I was like, yeah, pretty good. I was quite happy with that. So I get that, and you feel a bit like, oh, okay. But, you know, it's all everybody. If we were all the same, it would be pretty boring, wouldn't it? So I'm like, I try to be open to criticism as much as it does hurt. Like, if somebody says something, but, you know, if they don't like my music, that is cool too.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's hard, isn't it, when you go to create the next video, and then you'll be picking the music, and then that little voice pops in. It's like, oh, I didn't like the music last time, so then you're really overthinking.
And that's exactly that happened, because I actually changed my music after I read their comment as well, thinking, oh well, I'll try this one and see. Yeah. But the truth is, not everybody's going to like everything, and that's fine.
Yeah, because we're trying to appeal to such a wide audience, which isn't very natural, is it? Like, I think of how many people I meet and how many people I actually like. I'm not going to like them all.
Exactly. You're not, and you know, you might think everybody's all right, or you might like 90% of them, but you know, the real connections are the best connections, aren't they? And you know, you can't have that with everybody. If it's going to be special, it's going to be close in it.
So you said that you always liked fashion and clothes. Do you feel like your style has changed a lot over the years, or do you feel like it's always been pretty similar?
I think it's always been pretty similar up until I started doing this, and now I'm really taking a good look at what I wear, and what I had a big perception of what I thought was what I wanted to dress like to what I actually want to dress like. So comfort for me is a massive thing, and I hadn't realised, like, I was buying tight dresses and they look great with like stiletto heels and stuff, and then I was struggling like all night trying to wear these outfits. And I think that's something that I've changed. I've decided that it's okay to be comfortable and try to find an outfit that I think is as beautiful as those. So I sort of challenged my own perceptions of what I thought was fashionable. And yeah, I'm definitely more of a jeans and boots kind of girl now than what I was before. But I like it, and think it's just sort of changed. And I've added colour as well, a lot of colour into my wardrobe just recently. And I think maybe that's down to lockdown and feeling a little bit more subdued and sad. So I think came out in my fashion a little bit to try and brighten my spirit.
Yeah, definitely. Because I noticed during lockdown I was sort of dressing up in the house and stuff, because
Yes.
I don't know if it's because I just had more time or whether I just wanted to perk myself up. But yeah, I kind of did the same thing. It's really funny. Lockdown's been a roller coaster. How have you been coping with it?
Exactly, roller coaster. So yeah, I feel very fortunate. I'm very lucky that I've got my job, and even I was put on furlough for a while, like I still had a position, which was really good. So I'm definitely fortunate and well aware that I am, but it's not to say not being able to see my friends and family, that was hard. And things like this is great, where you can actually see people and talk to them, but it's not the same as having a hug from your best friends or your family. It's not. I was really grateful for the dog. Having the dog to just cuddle. My husband as well. See how it was dog first, husband second. Don't tell him.
Yeah. It's just, and even seeing people now, it feels really strange not hugging them, because it feels weird saying goodbye without hugging as well, because it feels rude almost.
You just like this, bye. I don't know if you do it, but I do this, bye. You just like pretend hug, and it's weird. So strange.
Yeah, because you feel like you need something to say more than goodbye, don't you? It's weird.
It's funny.
I can't deal with it. It's horrible. But hopefully things will be back to some kind of normal.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah. Great. So shall we move on to your first item then, the item that you love?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's kind of following the YouTube thing. So when my very first YouTube video was for a dress for my cousin's wedding, and this is the dress that actually I picked to wear to the wedding, and I love it. It's just one of these absolutely stunning. I got it from ASOS. It wasn't particularly expensive. I think it was like £60, so it was expensive to me, but I know some people, it's not a designer dress, it's an ASOS own brand. And it was from the Tall collection, because I'm 5'10", so sometimes when I'm buying dresses, they just don't sit correctly on me because of where my arch of my back is, and then where they sit on my legs as well. So my butt's not in the right place, it just kind of looks baggy at the back. But this was tall, and it just has the most beautiful back, and I felt very pretty in it, and it was just lovely. And my husband wore a suit with an orange tie as well, so we looked like one of those daft couples that colour coordinate. But I felt so good in it. It's got sort of like flapper style to it. It's got the tassels at the bottom.
Yeah, that's so nice. I absolutely love it.
I adore it.
I'm always ASOS do have a good selection of occasion dresses, and you can try so many on as well, which is nice. And
that's the good thing about ASOS, actually, is that you can see. I love how they have the models with the height on it. So for anybody who's like tall, if the models are 5'10", I can actually see where it sits on them. All right, I'm definitely not the same shape as them, but it's really nice to see where it sits on their legs and stuff. So I find that really handy especially when it's moving, because for anything that rides up is always a big no-no to me, because if it's short already and then it's going to ride up, you're like, oh, that's a top.
Yeah, it's something that I've changed as I've got older, is thinking about being comfortable as well, and being able to say no to things, knowing that like they might look good while you're stood still, but if you're going to move around in that and like doing positions in the changing rooms, whatever, like lunging or sitting on
such good advice. Yes, that is such good advice. One of the dresses I bought, it was one of those bodycon dresses, and I wore it to our friend's wedding a few years back, and it was a Scottish wedding, and they had a ceilidh, and basically you get picked up by your partner at some point, and I chose to do a piggyback and jump on his back. And obviously, in a bodycon dress, it ripped all the way up the backside. My whole butt was just exposed to everybody. There was a videographer there, photographers, everything. I was mortified. I was like, yeah, I don't think bodycon dresses are for me anymore. They got too dangerous after a drink.
What did you do for the rest of the night?
Oh, well, I was very lucky, because one of my, it was my partner's girlfriend, who we're really close now, very close now. She safety pinned me in. But then obviously that didn't last very long, because as soon as you sit down in safety pins, so I then had to like waddle my way to the barman, and I asked him, I was like, do you have a needle and thread? He was like, no, sorry. I was like, do you think you could help me by getting some needle and thread? And I was turned around and he was like, oh my God, yes, I will be back with needle and thread. And bless him, I don't know if he ran out to somewhere and got some, because it was in this little I don't know what you call it, but it was a wedding venue and there wasn't much around, and it was in Scotland as well, in by the coast, but there was nothing around. But he, bless him, he went and got me some needle and thread, went to the toilet, I had to take it off and just sat there frantically trying to sew. But it lasted the rest of the night, so I was chuffed with my sewing ability.
Yeah, that's good, especially after a few drinks as well.
I'm surprised my hand wasn't stuck to the dress, like
sewn it in. Oh my gosh, that happened to me in work when I was 18 or 19. My trousers split at the front, and I didn't know either, and no one really told me. People were just laughing, and I was like, if they just said straight away, I would have sorted it out. But it took me a while, and I was like, how long have I been walking around like this and no one said?
So mean.
I know. And
tell each other that important stuff.
I know, and at the time I was so embarrassed. I can look back now and just be like, oh, whatever. But you know when you're a teenager or like in your early 20s, everything's embarrassing. So yeah, that was pretty
You survived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
And then it's good advice for anybody thinking about wearing like tight fitting clothing, because it's like there's a potential that might happen.
Yeah. But I also was locked, my manager locked me in the office, and then I sat there like sewing my trousers together so I was like, can't I just get sent home please? But no, I had to sew them back, which is such a shame.
Did your sewing last the rest of the day?
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah.
He's just making right here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that dress is gorgeous. So do you have something that you find tricky to style?
Yeah, well, it's the bodycon dresses again. So this is another one. This is from ASOS as well. It's from the Vespa range, and I always think they look so beautiful, these bodycon dresses. But it's to do with comfort again. So if I'm wearing a dress like this, I find it tricky to get the right shoes, and I've started wearing a lot of block heels with dresses like this now instead, because I have a few that I love. And I love this one as well. I actually bought this for another cousin's bat mitzvah, and it's lovely, and it just has the nice square neckline shape, and you can put a jumper over it, and it looks really nice for work as well. But it's the heels thing, and also styling it with different to give it different looks as opposed to just a red dress. I find that quite tricky. So. Yeah, I think I'm actually stepping away from this style of dress going forward, mainly because of the wedding where I split it situation. This is bad memories.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, I think I'm moving away from just having one piece and then wearing it one way. So if you can't mix things up,
Exactly.
It puts me off it now.
Making it fit in your life is actually quite important, I think, as well. Like if you can only have an idea of wearing it one way, then that reduces the amount of times you can enjoy wearing it. And I think that's something I'm certainly looking at as well.
Yeah. Do you think that you would wear, so the first one that you had, do you think that you would wear that to an occasion again? You wouldn't mind sort of?
Yeah, I have actually. So I wore it for my cousin's wedding. I have another wedding coming up with a friend, and I plan on wearing this dress just because of how it makes me feel. And also I wore it for my birthday last year. We went for a meal with some friends and stuff, and I think it's one of these dresses that I will pull out for as long as the sequins stay on it. I will wear this dress like for the occasions, just because I love it. And it's just the cowl neckline as well. I just think it's different to anything else I have, and I like that as well. I like the contrast. But styling it wise, I have worn this with some Vans and a denim jacket, and it looked I thought it looked really cool anyway, so you might tell me it didn't, but it just gave it a different sort of style completely, and that was actually for a photo shoot. So I was pleased that I was able to wear this dress in a different way.
I was going to ask you actually about your photographer. So who takes your photos for you?
Well, I take a lot of the ones on my Instagram account myself with a tripod and a little, but it's this this little figure, and honestly it's a godsend because I'm not very good at asking friends to take pictures of me, and I feel awkward about it. To be honest, it's just also I'm pretty rubbish at remembering to take pictures in the moment because I'm too busy wrapped up in the moment. Or if you're with friends and stuff, you're sort of involved with them. But my husband takes a couple of them for me, and because of Instagram, a couple of photographers in the local area have gotten in touch. I think it started with because of Banksy. Actually, they didn't want me; they wanted Banksy. And there was a photo shoot. Basically, it was a makeup artist contacted me, and she was like, "Would you be interested in doing a photo shoot with your dog?" And this was at the beginning of the year. I was like, "Yeah, that would be fun." And she seemed really nice as well. And she's like, "I've got a photographer that I work with, and she's normally photographing horses and animals, but she's looking to photograph dogs." And I was like, "That sounds lovely." And they came round. It was pre-COVID, so everything was all above board. They came round and they did my makeup, and they bought the outfits, and they met Banksy, made sure he was okay, and we went to a local walk with him, and the pictures that they took actually got published. So me and Banksy are both published models as of
amazing.
2 days ago. Yeah, so it was lovely, and I think it just sort of I put those on my Instagram, and then some local photographers had gotten in touch, which was lovely, and there's loads more, and also the makeup artist for that shoot's been in touch about other shoots without the dog, so I couldn't have done too badly. So hopefully it's okay. But I quite like taking my dog with me.
Yeah, I guess it's nice being in maybe more of a local area, because then you can sort of it's more, you'll meet more people, whereas I think sometimes in London it can be hard because there's so much choice out there. So
I bet it. Imagine as well, like I guess in because I'm pretty much in the countryside. I live in a market town really, and there's only a few people, and I think with COVID as well, like photographers, yourself included in this, like it couldn't have been easy booking work, but you still want to like update your portfolio, and you have these images to post and stuff. So I think they've contacted a few people around the local areas to work with each other, and it's nice. It's such a nice thing to connect over, and I don't feel like I'm helping really. I feel like I'm getting a lot more out of it than they are, but they've all been really lovely and gracious and sweet about what we've done together and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I've made some nice friends.
That's nice. And how is Banksy as a model? Did he sit still in everything? No wonder they don't want him back.
I'll bring him up in a bit. I'll get some treats.
Yeah.
But he's good. He's so beautiful. I think mother's love. I think he's gorgeous, and he's very he's a good dog, but he's a handful. But we love him, and he enjoys it. If he's outside and there's food, they're his two favourite things. Yeah. So yeah, he's good at it. He really is.
What made you pick him? Was it you wanted that kind of breed, or?
Well, it was my husband actually. So I wanted to rescue Great Dane dogs. That's what I wanted to do. But we had a Belgian Shepherd cross collie, and we got him at 9 before, and his name was Danny, and we loved him very much. And Danny was with us until he was 16, and it was heartbreaking. Like, not only we just got a dog, but heartbreaking when the time came. Yeah. And Rob, my husband, was like, I never want another dog. I can't do this again. And like, it's horrible. I'm like, well up. I feel a bit of stress in the world.
Don't worry, you can do.
So he'd always said about either having a pug or a husky, and I said, okay, and he only really wanted a puppy. So I said to him, okay, if we do get a puppy, because we were talking about potentially having children and stuff, we thought maybe if we got a puppy and raised him, it'd be one, good practice, and two, like, it can eliminate, not completely at all, but you can learn about how the dog will react to certain things if you have them from an early age, as opposed to rescuing Great Danes, which was my idea, and normally you get them at like 5 to 7 years old.
Yeah.
But I still want to do that. But we're happy with Banksy. But he's an Alaskan Malamute as well, so he's not a husky, because we did some research over and we spoke to the Alaskan Malamute Association, that was just like a charity for them, and they sort of were explaining little bits about the breed without sounding breedist, we just sort of fell in love with Malamutes, really, and that's kind of how that happened. And as soon as you go and meet a puppy, you're walking home.
Oh my gosh, I know. As soon as we saw Sunday, we were just like, she's coming home, we can't. And
I love you.
Yeah, she's a bit bigger than she's actually crossed with a miniature poodle, not a toy poodle, so she's a bit bigger than I thought.
Okay.
But I was just like, I don't
you can
care.
pick her up, though. She's perfect.
Yeah, she's a good size. But I've looked after so many people's dogs and sort of loved them as my own, but I think having my own is completely different, and she's just
they'll drive you batty as well, but you still love them. A guy I work with, he actually compared it to having a toddler for their entire life, like they never grew up, and I was like, actually, you're quite right. we do it to ourselves.
I know. Oh, I could talk about dogs all day,
but
let's see your random item.
Well, I thought I would say this one. So, do you recognise it?
Yeah.
So I bought this from Lindsey. He was selling it secondhand, and this I tend to wear actually when I'm on normal British summer days when it's too cold to actually wear a t-shirt, because it's like a knitted. Where's the camera? There it is. A knitted fabric, and it's just bright and lovely, and I get a lot of compliments when I wear it as well, because I think it's just a bit eye-catching, and it helped me introduce a lot of colour into my wardrobe, because it has all the colours. But I love it, and I wear it quite a bit, and it still looks really good as well, like the quality of the make. I hadn't realised who Daisy Street was at all until you sent me this. So
because I find I got it from ASOS actually.
Oh, so, really? Okay.
Yeah, and it was just one of the brands that they had on there.
Lovely.
I find, because I was looking through your Instagram before, and I find that it does come across as really positive and a really happy place. Do you think that is something that you try to do, or do you think it's something that is quite natural?
Yeah, I think it's natural. I do. It's like when you take pictures, you never take pictures of sad moments, do you? I think you instantly take, when you're posting something, you tend to try and put your best foot forward, but I am pretty positive as a person. Like, I always have a perspective on life and try to be as happy as I want to be, when I can, when I'm allowed to, when I let myself. But I think it's hard to sort of show more. I think if I was to post like about sad news and sad, that's very vulnerable to me, and it's not something I do easily, even like with my closest friends and family. Like, if I'm feeling sad about something, I will just maybe internalize that a little bit and try to deal with it in my own way. And that's definitely not saying that's the way everyone should do it or anything, but for me, I tend to focus my mind on what makes me happy, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 it works for me. But definitely not all days are rainbow tops and stuff. Like, sometimes it's a hoodie and jeans, and I'm happy with that. And a bag of minstrels.
Do you think you're attracted to following people as well like that? Would you say that your feed is everyone that you follow is quite positive and a similar?
Yeah, there are, like, I've met some lovely people. Like, I've met my friend Michelle, and she's very positive and very sweet, and she's not had an easy time with things, but she's so, like, she's quite inspiring because she's very vulnerable in what she writes about herself, and like what she puts out into Instagram. It's very personal, and just real life, and but she's always still, like, amazingly positive, and she tries to help other people and stuff, and I think that's really lovely. And I guess, yeah, I'm drawn to people that are, I guess, kind. Like, I like nice people.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, because I find it hard. I'm kind of torn between saying too much or saying too little, and I'm not really quite sure on the balance yet on what I want to put forward.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to appear to be this person that's always happy all the time, because nobody is. And if you're feeling sad, I definitely want everybody to know that I feel sad sometimes too. But it's hard to do that. Like, in what situation would you write, I feel sad today?
Yeah,
because it feels a bit like, comment and tell me I shouldn't be sad.
Yeah.
And I think that's a battle, but I think it's so personal, and that we'll just develop our own styles with it, with how it works for each and every one of us. So I get that we feel a struggle sometimes with that.
Yeah, and you don't know whether people are coming onto Instagram for a form of escapism as well. Maybe they just want your content because it is happy and positive. Maybe they don't really need that from you.
So. Exactly. And something like, because when coronavirus was, when it was in the news, like, I actually had to stop watching the news because I was getting sad by, like, being bombarded by the horror that is coronavirus, and the people that were affected. But I am really, it was hard for me at certain points to remember how lucky I am and all the good things that I had, because I was just terrified of turning on the news and watching. Like, I remember there being a story about this old man who wasn't able to see anybody and was scared that he wouldn't be able to see anybody and would die alone. I was like, that's just horrible, and it's real life, and I don't want to be naive away from it. But at the same time, every morning while I'm having my cup of tea before I get ready to go to work, I was heartbroken by a story similar to that. And I think sometimes you just need a bit of distance from it, and that is what Instagram is for me, and YouTube. It's a bit of escapism. It's something I really enjoy, and it's fun trying on clothes, and it's fun seeing what styles suit, and maybe trying a different style, and seeing how that will pair up. And it's definitely not like top level news of science about coronavirus, that for sure. And I wouldn't even try to comment on stuff like that, because I don't know enough, and two, it can be a bit sad. So for something I enjoy, it's definitely in a different direction.
Yeah. And we kind of touched on who you followed a little bit, but just kind of to finish off, do you have any style icons, either celebrities or Instagrammers?
Definitely found this question hard. So I take fashion inspiration from lots of different people. So I love Alexa Chung, and I know you've talked about this before in previous videos. And like, she definitely has a certain physique and things, so does not match mine. And like, as beautiful as she is, she's probably not as attainable for me. So I watch a lot of telly as well. So me and my husband are currently watching Suits. I don't know, Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with all the fashion that they're wearing. It's a lot of bodycon dresses, so I should just turn off. But it's just beautiful. I just pick things out when people are wearing different things, and I like seeing how they pair colours. And something I'm looking into a little bit more is like patterns, like how people would mix spots with stripes and stuff. And I know you covered this before in another video as well, actually. But I like that, and I think that all that is just learning. So for an icon, there's lots of Instagrammers. Yourself, you're one of them. Stephanie Kent, she's fantastic as well. There's loads, but it can be from everything, to be honest. So I don't have a particular person that I'm just like, I want to look like her. Maybe Kate Moss, if I could pick.
I'd say you've got something Kate Moss about you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Thank you. I'll take it.
I would say the same, because there's so many ways that we can get inspiration from. And someone actually said the other day, I think it was just a uniform, she was on a live and she said, don't just take your inspiration from Instagram. And I think I was like, I'm definitely doing that. I'm definitely concentrating mainly on using Instagram to kind of get picture ideas, and I should outsource my inspiration, look a bit more again at magazines and films and stuff.
I think, yeah, I generally think like films and telly and is a great way, and so it's, you know, magazines is a bit more glamorous, isn't it? But yeah, if you've got shows that you like, and you know, especially when there's I quite like the power suits the women wear and stuff like that. It's maybe because I don't have any power suits, and I'm just like, wow, they look stunning. So stuff like I'm dead interested in.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you put stuff like that on, how different you can feel. It can totally transform
I think that's the thing about fashion, is it can really have an impact on you. Like you said, you dress up during lockdown, and it's not for anybody else, it's for you. And I think that's when fashion hits real, plays on a little bit, because you know you're doing it because you want to do it, and you know you can feel fabulous just walking around the garden if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. Do it.
Do you find that you ever have to sort of explain to people why you're into fashion at all? Do you ever come across it, like friends or family or people at work, maybe?
That's such a good question, because I don't think anybody asks for an explanation, but sometimes I feel like I justify it a little bit, like, because they, you know, if I meet somebody and they, you know, my friends will go, oh, she's got a YouTube channel, and they'll go, oh, what do you do? And I'll go, fashion, because I like how it makes me feel and stuff like, and I justify it, and you don't need to, because there's nothing wrong with fashion's a brilliant industry, and it helps a lot of people as well. So I think it's a perception of fashion that I do justify, but everybody seems to be interested, which is nice. And if they're not, it's fine.
I've been listening to like a lot of confidence podcasts, and I did some 30-year coaching. And and it was really good. And I was doing the same thing, justifying or just saying, oh, I'm a content creator, but I also do this as well, and that's what I do really. And just kind of putting myself down in front of people. And I've been trying to work on the confidence to be like, no, I'm a content creator. Like, this is what I do every day. So you are a YouTuber. You should just tell people and just be like, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's so true. Definitely. I should just be like, I'm a YouTuber and I like fashion. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's in your head that you feel that people are going, because I guess it's that whole being vulnerable thing, isn't it? And you feel like somebody's going to say something. Nobody ever has said anything bad. Like everybody's on there like, oh right, that's good. You know? It's just like a perception inside, I think.
And it's more having the courage. You having the courage to do it is amazing. So they're probably just thinking, wow, that's amazing that she does that, rather than thinking, you know, that's silly.
That's a good way of looking at it. That's lovely. Yeah, I'm going to try and do that next time. Somebody asks me what I do on YouTube.
You need to write it down just to remind yourself.
I think it's a good idea. Really good. Is that something that you learned from your coaching session?
Yeah, so we worked on that, and just feeling like I was creating was, because I kept saying that I wasn't successful, and I was worried that people would think that content creation was a joke. And I think it's mainly because I had this idea of a traditional career, and I don't have it, sort of thing. So, and it was just questioning that and saying, well, people make money from it. You know, it is a career, and
lots of money. Yeah, absolutely. And that I'm pleased that you sort of like learned that about yourself as well, because I think like noticing that about yourself is like a big step anyway. And then, you know, anything that we can all do to try and build upon our confidence in whatever field we want to perceive, if it's what we want to do, we should be proud about it. So definitely, I've been looking at life coaches and things like that lately. It's definitely something, I think, because of Instagram, you know, you see people like yourself who are doing it and gaining like real positive changes, and you know, learning is an opportunity to learn about yourself, isn't it? And I think that's really quite powerful. So
yeah, so good. I did a workshop, and that was really good. But it was also a bit eye-opening because I saw that there was a couple of people there that they're confident. I thought that I didn't have any confidence in myself, but then seeing some other people actually made me put it into perspective that, oh, mate, I do believe in myself and like I do know my strengths, and that was a really good thing for me as well. So
yeah, and I bet like you see yourself completely different to how other people see you, and that is quite a challenge as well. Like, because if no, I don't think anybody would look at your Instagram and think, oh, you know, she doesn't feel like she's a content creator. It's crazy. You're amazing content. Share it with the world.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, definitely look into the life coaching and stuff, because it's really, I thought it was just an American thing. I didn't really understand it, and then I did it and I thought, yeah, this is just, it helps so much.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's yourself, and there's another lady on called Florence Spearman, and she's done something similar, and it's just like, you know, if no matter what it is, if it makes you feel good and more positive and gives you whatever energy it is that you want to do whatever you want and to do what you love, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All for it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for talking to me.
All right.
Yeah, you've been such a great guest. Bye.
Bye.